And hello, Tom Pace from the Caddo Registrar of Voters Office. Election 2016 update. It's going to be a big year for elections. In fact, one right around the corner with the Caddo Registrar of Voters, Ernie Robertson. Ernie, already it's coming into March, and there's going to be big elections.
Right. We do have one March the 5th, and it's actually, Tom, going to be 4 different elections on one date, because for the first time, it only happens once every 4 years, we're going to actually have a closed party primary plus 3 open primary elections. And I'm going to start by talking about the Court of Appeal, because that is open primary.
All right. And so we had our district attorney, who used to be a judge on the Second Court of Appeals, James Stewart. Now he is our DA, so we have an open seat.
We do, and we'll have a special election. It's only going to be in 48 precincts of the 151 in Caddo, so not everybody's going to vote on this, but I want to stress this is an open primary election. And if you're a registered voter in that district, and some of the precincts, Tom, are split, so not everybody in a precinct may actually vote on it. But whenever the field is populated, when we get to the part where you can look on cattlevoter.org for what's on my ballot, that will actually be on there if you're in one of those 48 precincts and you're in the district. And so you will be eligible to vote on that regardless of your party. And I do want to stress to people, that one is an open primary election, so it is not affected by the fact that we also have a closed party primary running, and then 2 more open primaries. We also have Town of Greenwood election for mayor, and we also have Fire District 8, which is up in the north end of the parish, and then we have the closed party primary, the presidential preference primary, Tom, that's going to be on the ballot, and that's the one that's just a little bit confusing.
All right, so with the closed primaries coming up, what about those that are Republicans, and what are those that are Democrats? Will they be able to vote in them, or who can vote? Well,
that's going to be the story. Is if you're a Democrat, you can vote on the party preference primary, or the presidential preference primary, and you'll vote on the Democratic candidates who are running for president. If you're a Republican, you can vote in that primary, and you will vote only on the Republicans. So Democrats vote on the Democratic candidates, Republicans vote on the Republican candidates. You can't swap between the two, because this is the party preference primary. But the real situation comes about for people that are no parties, or other parties like Greens, Reforms, Libertarians. They can't vote in the party preference primary because their party doesn't have a candidate. And if you're a no party, obviously, there's no candidate for you in that particular election either. And I want to stress for people who call themselves independent, we don't really have an independent party in Louisiana, but they call themselves independent because they didn't specify a party. And a lot of times they kind of think they're like a free agent in voting. I can go vote for whoever I want to. In this particular case, that's not true. If you didn't select a party, or you're a member of the Green, Reform, or Libertarian Party, you don't get to vote when it comes to the party preference primary. Only Democrats can vote. They can only vote on the Democratic candidates. Only Republicans can vote. They can only vote on the Republican candidates. And both of those parties also have some parish and state party officials running, people trying to get on the parish executive committee or the state central committee for each party. But Tom, that's not all the way through the parish. Most of those weren't challenged, but there are a few that are challenged.
Okay, that makes good sense. So what about if I decide, okay, I'm an independent, but I really have Republican or Democrat leanings? Is there a way I can still vote? Do I need to change my party affiliate? What's the deal?
You can change your party affiliation all the way up through February the 3rd. That's the key. That's the date the books close, is February the 3rd. So if you want to change to be another party, or make some other change to your record, you want to change your address or get registered to vote, you have until February the 3rd. That's the key date. And that change has to be in our office, either mailed to us or in person, or if you're registering for the first time, or if you even want to change your party, you can go to cattlevoter.org and you can change your party affiliation by filling out a new registration, or you can register to vote on there too, but you will need your driver's license, a Louisiana special ID, because you got to get the audit code that's right beside your picture and use that. That's the fraud prevention in Louisiana. You put in your audit code with all your other information, and you can register to vote, make a change to your record, but it has to be done by February the 3rd.
All right. Now, voting history in Louisiana is broad and wide. And right here in Caddo Parish, there has been great historical value in A, where you're located, and B, just the type of ballots that were used back then, because it wasn't all this electronic ballots, right?
That's true. In fact, we have here in our office some of the old ballot cans that were actually in the courthouse, and they were located over there, and we've got them here in our office. We usually bring them out during the voter week, which is going to happen in May, but we have them for this particular video. And the last election that those were used in was a property tax election back in the 60s. I believe it was a recreation tax of some sort. And those were found in some of the old ballots, not ones that had been voted, thank goodness, but some that had not been voted on were actually down in the cans, and we got those out and took a look at them. And just so we'd have them for historical value. And then we also found a great project by a young person who did it back about 1978, because it deals with the change of government in Shreveport, when we changed from the commissioner form of government to the mayor-council form of government. And that project is here in our office. It's kind of interesting because it also has the old precinct map that we used to use back in those days. Precincts changed quite a bit, as well as locations for polling places. So we have that as part of our history. And then one of the other things you'll see on the video is going to be a postcard from the corner of Milam and Marshall, and over on the left of that postcard is the Ward building. That's where we're located. It was built in 1915, and we're at the corner of Milam and Marshall. We always want folks to know that. And the old building is pretty much unchanged from those days, the exterior of it in 1915. And across the street on the other side, you can see the edge of the house that was owned by the Riku family. And you'll know them, of course, by the Riku Brewster building that used to be on that corner. And then right past their house was the REO truck dealership, better known as REO Speedwagon. And that dealership was actually right here on Milam Street. And it's always interesting to look back at how Shreveport has changed, but some things haven't changed. And we've got one of the most historic buildings in Shreveport that our office is located, the old Ward building, now the Caddo Commission building at the corner of Milam and Marshall, across from the courthouse that was opened in 1928.
And another part of this election update has to do with voting, and maybe you couldn't make the date coming up in March. But Ernie, what about early voting?
Well, we will have early voting starting Saturday, February the 20th, and running through Saturday, February 27th. We're going to be closed on intervening Sunday, which is the 21st of February. Each day will be open from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., and it's no excuse early voting, so you don't have to be out of town if you want to come early vote. You can just be ready to vote. And I really want to encourage people that want to vote, come on by between February 20th, February 27th, here at the corner of Milam and Marshall at the registrar's office. And if you need more information, of course, you can go to cattlevoter.org, or you can call us 226-6891. Make sure you bring your ID with you. And if you're a no-party voter, that doesn't mean that you won't have something to vote on. It just depends on your precinct. You might be in the Court of Appeals District. You might be in the town of Greenwood, or you might be in Fire District 8, which is in North Caddo Parish. And so you can check what's on my ballot at cattlevoter.org, and you can look that way, or if you need to, give us a call, 226-6891. But we will be open for early voting, and that's going to be February 20 through February 27th, Saturday to Saturday, closed on the intervening Sunday. And we do have handicap parking out front. And we will have 4 spots out there. 2 of them are for folks that are handicapped, and then 2 of them are just for the general public that wants to come in and vote. And part of what we try to do is make sure that whenever you show up, if we can help you in some way to get from your car to here. If you are handicapped, I'll be glad to do it and get you on in and get you ready to vote. It won't take long to vote, but actually we're going to make sure we confirm your party before you start, and that way that kind of helps us get everything set up for you and get you to the machines, and then you'll be able to be on your way.
All right, so finally, Ernie, recap this election coming up on March the 5th. Is that a Saturday, and is everybody just all go to their precincts? Obviously, they don't come here at all.
Right. On Saturday, March the 5th, it is a parish-wide election as far as the presidential preference primary, and you would go to your normal precinct, and if you don't know what that is, again, you can check it, or you can call us here and check your precinct location. The other thing is we do not have voting here at the registrar's office on election day, but if you need information, we're always open on election day. You can call us or you can come by during that day. And I want to encourage everybody to remember this is a closed party primary, that if you want to vote in one of those elections, and we got these on the screen for you, for if you want to vote for one of the presidential preference party primaries, you have to be a member of either the Democrat or Republican Party. And then the second thing is there might be something else on your ballot. It's unusual when we have a big district on the ballot other than the preference primary, but we do with the Court of Appeal. And if you want to vote in the Court of Appeal district, it doesn't matter what your party is, you can go vote in the Court of Appeal district, and same for Town of Greenwood and Fire District 8.
Well, that pretty much sums it up. What it's the bottom line is you need to vote. And if you're not registered, you can register at cattlevoter.org. On top of that, if you are registered as maybe a no party, maybe a libertarian or a green, and you decide you want to vote in the presidential primary, the preference primary, and you want to change your ballot to where you would be a Democrat or a Republican, you can do that too. Remember the URL, the website, www.cattlevoter.org. That's another Election 2016 update. For Ernie Robertson, the Caddo Parish Registrar of Voters, I'm Tom Pace. See you at the polls.